Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the monthly call, the nutrition support. Hope everyone had a happy July 4th. So we'll get started. Some of this will be a repeat, and then, but some will be new information. So our agenda for today is to discuss the state oversight plan, child nutrition emergency cost guidance, PEBT local level funding, school year 21-22 waiver updates, the 21-22 operational updates, the summer food service operations, training updates, and then we'll do other program updates. So let's start with the state agency oversight plan. There is a waiver to provide flexibility for administrative reviews in school year 21-22. The waiver allows certain meal programs, administrative review criteria. It waives certain school meal programs and administrative review criteria in order to ensure that state agencies are able to conduct administrative reviews when the SFAs are only operating SSO in school year 21-22. So with modifications, administrative reviews will resume in school year 21-22. At this time, the on-site portion of all 21-22 administrative reviews are planned to be conducted on site. So SFAs that were scheduled for an administrative review in 2021 received extensive technical assistance, and they're postponed. The reviews were postponed for 21-22, but the administrative reviews will occur in 21-22. The reviews that were originally planned for school year 21-22 will now occur in school year 22-23. And at this time, USDA has not released any additional administrative review guidance for 21-22. Let's talk about the waiver of on-site monitoring requirements in the school meals program. The effective dates are July 1 of 2021 until 30 days after the end of the public health emergency. This waiver allows the on-site portion of the administrative review to be conducted through off-site means such as a desk audit. It also allows SFAs on-site monitoring to be conducted through off-site means. And this is allowed in National School Lunch Program and School Breakfast Program. But again, at this time, the on-site portion of all 21-22 administrative reviews are planned to be conducted on site. And we have the waiver of on-site monitoring requirements for state agencies and the Cacfp program. The effective dates are October 1st, 2021 to 30 days after the end of the public health emergency. This waiver allows the on-site portion of the monitoring review to be conducted through off-site means such as a desk audit. This is strictly for Cacfp. Now let's talk about the child nutrition emergency cost guidance. As an overview of the COVID-19 emergency operating costs, it's under the Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2021. And the purpose is to provide additional funding for child nutrition program operators whose revenues decreased or were interrupted during the early days of the public health emergency. The relief is intended to address funding shortfalls. It's not intended to address increased costs due to COVID-19. And the payment formula is tied to past reimbursements. Funds must be deposited in the nonprofit food service account and be used in accordance with no normal program requirements, such as allowable CMP costs. Now you've all seen this slide in past presentations. This is the key dates in regard to the COVID-19 emergency operating costs. And at this point, the SFA does not need to do anything. The state agency plan, as you can see in step 3, was approved by USDA. We have identified the SFAs that should be receiving additional revenue as requested in step 4. The funds will be distributed by January 31st, 2022. Emergency cost guidance. USDA published guidance and the question and answers regarding the child nutrition program for emergency operational cost programs in January. See Memo SFS 21-83 if you need more information. USDA also released implementation plan guidance in Memo SFS 21-X116 and Q&As in SFS 21-X117 to the states in March. LDOE has hosted a training regarding emergency operating costs that was conducted in April. The recording along with the slides are available on the Louisiana Fit Kids website. So let's move on to PEBT for 2021 and local level funding for schools. In addition to the benefits awarded directly to your families, USDA has also made funding available to operators of NSLP and SBP programs that are responsible for activities related to the fiscal year 2021 State Pandemic Electronic Benefit Transfer, PEBT. LDOE is responsible for providing funding to all schools, whether they be public, charter, or private. The fiscal year 21 local level funding is for PEBT activities that occurred between October of 2020 and September of 2021 in conjunction with PEBT benefits that were issued for school year 2021 and summer 21. Districts that operated that opted to operate the single summer option or the summer food service program in place of the traditional national school lunch program, school breakfast program due to COVID may also be eligible. This funding was made available under Section 721 of the fiscal year 2021 Omnibus and COVID Relief and Response Act. Previous USDA guidance for PEBT local level funding required the SFAs to submit application requests. These requests were to be submitted in 2 collection intervals, May of 2021 and August of 2021. USDA released new flexibilities to the local level funding reimbursement process. So now, instead of having SFAs submit a request, the state has the flexibility to award a specified dollar amount to all eligible entities based on the number of PEBT eligible children instead of collecting itemized cost information. Louisiana will submit this data to USDA by August 6th of 2021. So if you need any additional information, please refer to Memo SFS 21-X187. Remember that eligible program operators will not be required to submit an application to receive these funds. So moving on to school year 21-22 food service waiver updates. USDA announced a new suite of waivers to support school reopening in school year 21-22. The goal of these waivers is to increase funding, support access, and balance operational needs with the goal of providing nutritious meals. Please note that not all waivers are extensions of previous waivers. This is a list of the waivers, but we're going to go over some of them individually. So let's start with waiver number 85, which is the waiver that allows us to operate SSO through school year 21-22. So it is effective from July 1 of 2021 to June 30th of 2022. USDA is allowing these operations during the regular school year, effective July 1 through June 30th. And this flexibility is available to all SFAs, including RCCIs, and may be used at any school, regardless of its location or the type of SSO site it's operating, whether it be open or closed enrolled. So what this means is that any school can operate SSO during the regular school year. All children 18 and under receive meals at no charge. Meals do not need to be counted and claimed by eligibility category. An area eligibility waiver is not necessary. All schools can participate, regardless of their location or percentage of students eligible for free or reduced price meals. And you can operate an open or closed enrolled SSO site. Just remember that only 2 meals can be served under SSO, breakfast and lunch. If you want to do after school snacks, you would have to claim them under NSLP, after school care program, or in CACFP in school year 21-22. Then we have a waiver to allow the SFSP reimbursement rate through 21-22, which will be effective July 1 to June 30th. It allows SFAs that operate SSO to claim meals and snacks at the SFSP reimbursement rate. The reimbursement rates will be the high, rural, or self-prep rates. SFAs choosing to operate NSLP in school year 21-22 will not receive SFSP reimbursement rates for meals and snacks served. Please be reminded that the summer food service program will not be extended. The seamless summer option better positions schools to serve more nutritious meals. So the options available to schools in 21-22 is the seamless summer option with the summer rate, national school lunch and school breakfast with the NSLP SBP reimbursement rate. So those are your options. Remember again, only 2 meals can be served under SSO. So after school snacks would have to be served under NSLP or CACFP. So this is just a chart of what's going to happen if you operate SSO versus NSLP. If you're operating SSO, you're going to serve meals to students enrolled at the school. If you're operating open sites, you can also serve children in the community that are 18 and under. That all students receive meals free of charge, and reimbursement is at the SFSP highest rate. If you operate NSLP during school year 21-22, you will serve meals only to students enrolled at the school. Meals will be counted by each student's free, reduced, paid eligibility, and reimbursement for meals is based on each student's free, reduced, or paid eligibility. So this just shows that all the programs that you are allowed to operate during the 21-22 school year: SSO, NSLP, SBP, at-risk after-school meals, and the fresh fruit and vegetable program. SFSP, again, will not be allowed. Then we have waivers that promote operational flexibility. We have a non-congregate meal waiver, mealtime flexibility, parent guardian pickup, offer versus serve flexibility. The local operators should use these waivers only for the duration and extent needed. USDA encourages SFAs to return to standard meal service operations as soon as it is safe to do so. We have a waiver to allow non-congregate meal service. The effective date is July 1, 2021 to June 30th, 2022. And it removes the requirement that meals must be served in a congregate setting and must be consumed by participants on site. This is allowed in an SLP, SBP, SSO, and Cacfp. And we have a waiver for mealtime requirements, also effective from July 1 to June 30th of 2022, that allows meals to be served outside the standard meal times. Schools have the flexibility to provide meal pickup options for students learning virtually and grab-and-go meals for students that are in school. Please note that meal service times are still required for each site. And this programs that are allowed to use this waiver will be NSLP, SBP, SSO, and Cacfp. Then we have the waiver for delivery of meals to homes. The non-congregate and mealtime flexibility waivers allow the option to provide meals through delivery, but please note, the sponsor must obtain written consent from households of eligible children that the household wants to receive delivered meals. And also remember that your delivery plans must be approved prior to providing meals to homes. The next waiver is the waiver to allow parent guardian pickup of meals. Again, that's effective July 1 to June 30th of 2022. And it states that children do not have to be present to pick up meals, but the sponsor must ensure program integrity. They must have a documented process in place to ensure that meals are distributed only to parents or guardians of eligible children and that duplicate meals are not distributed. Again, it's allowed in NSLP, SBP, SSO, and Cacfp. The waiver to allow offer versus serve flexibilities for senior high schools is also effective from July 1 to June 30th of 2022. And it waives the requirements for senior high schools to participate in offer versus serve. And that is allowed in programs NSLP and SSO. The waiver to allow specific school meal pattern flexibilities is effective from October 1 of 2021 to June 30th of 2022. With justification, specific meal pattern requirements are waived to allow program operators to serve meals that may not meet the nutrition standards. And this is allowed in NSLP and SBP, as well as SSO. Note that CN response number 74 allows meal pattern flexibility in SSO through September 30th of 2021. That is the reason for the effective date of October 1st. So remember that with the meal pattern flexibilities, the following specific meal requirements are waived. The menus must meet the dietary specification for sodium, that all grains offered have to be whole grain rich, that preschoolers have to have at least one serving per day of whole grain rich across all eating occasions, to offer a variety of vegetables from the vegetable subgroups, and to offer a variety, at least 2 different options of fluid milk, that low-fat milk must be unflavored, and to plan menus and offer food components for specified age grade groups in the stated combinations. States will consider approval on a case-by-case basis for all of these requirements except for sodium. So what this waiver means is that you have the flexibility as an SFA to not meet specific meal pattern requirements as stated on the previous slide. Again, with state agency approval, except for the sodium restriction. You must meet all other meal pattern requirements. USDA has offered these specific flexibilities to support schools with offering alternative meal service models and support social distancing efforts. This waiver does not allow SFAs to not serve an entire component, serve less than the required amount to meet the daily and weekly requirements, or provide flexibilities for meeting the meal pattern requirements due to product shortages or delivery issues. Next is the waiver to allow specific meal pattern flexibilities in Cacfp. And the effective date of that is July 1 to June 30th of 2022. Specific meal pattern requirements are waived to allow program operators to serve meals that may not meet the nutrition standards. And the following specific requirements are waived: that at least one serving of grain be whole grain rich, that crediting of grains by ounce equivalents must be fully implemented by October 1st, 2021, and that low-fat milk must be unflavored. The Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2021 and the effect that it has on C&Ps. This memo provides notice to child nutrition program operators regarding section 743, 764, 767, and 789 of Division A of the Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2021, which allows the substitution of vegetables for fruit in SBP. It prohibits funds from being used to procure raw or processed poultry products from the People's Republic of China in any child nutrition program, and it provides guidance related to pricing of paid lunches for NSLP during school year 21-22. It allows the offering of low-fat flavored milk in both at the NSLP and SBP through September 30th of 2021. The next waiver is the waiver of area eligibility and after-school programs and FDCH or family daycare homes. It's effective from July 1 to June 30th of 2022, and it allows schools and at-risk after-school care centers to claim all meals and snacks at the free rate, regardless of location. It allows the family daycare homes to claim meals at the Tier 1 rate, regardless of the location. This is allowed in NSLP for after-school snacks and Cacfp. The after-school meals enrichment requirement is not waived. The enrichment component of the after-school program is a requirement for service of after-school snacks or suppers. Now, the guidance has allowed it to be digital if necessary, but the enrichment activities should include options that are accessible to all participating children. So let's talk about some 21-22 operational updates. Ready to Achieve has some school operational guidance. I know I've been asked a couple of times about whether there was any updated operational guidelines, and these are active links. They're Ready to Achieve school reopening guidance, a dynamic FAQ, there's a webinar and a presentation deck. And this guidance serves as best practices. These are not mandates. It's also important to understand that our guidance is a blueprint based on the best information available now. The CDC is working on new guidelines, and they're expected to be released later this summer. Those recommendations, as well as any shifts in the virus, will likely impact the guidance. Q&As for CMP operations for 21-22. There's a Q&A that provides clarifications on questions related to CMP operations during school year 21-22. There's clarifications regarding SSO weekend and holiday meals, applications, reimbursement rates, and more. And that would be found in memo SFS 21-X184. So let's go to the PLE tool. Any SFA with a positive or zero balance in its nonprofit school food service account as of December 31st, 2020 is exempt from PLE pricing requirements that are found at 7 CFR 21014E for school year 21-22. SFAs operating SSO during 21-22 do not need to follow PLE requirements for school year 21-22 per the Child Nutrition Waiver number 97. Also, please note that when completing the PLE tool for 21-22, if SFAs do not have pricing or sales data from October of 2020, they can use October of 2019 pricing and sales data. And the PLE tool is now available. USDA has released the income eligibility guidelines for 21-22, and they are effective from July 1st to June 30th of 2022. And these are the guidelines for free and reduced price meals. See memo SFS 21-108 for a copy of these guidelines. Weekend and holiday meals during school year 21-22. SFAs cannot provide weekend or holiday meals through SSO when school is in session during the regular school year. Weekend and holiday meals may be provided through CACFP at-risk after-school meals in 21-22. Schools that are operating SSO must provide notification regarding the availability of school meals and the eligibility criteria at or near the beginning of the school year. Schools participating in SSO should notify households that all meals will be free through SSO. If it is an open site, then you would have to do a public media release. If you are operating a closed site, it is, you may put it on your website, send letters home to the household, put it on the front door of the school as a form of notifying your households. Meal applications with SSO. The school meal application is used to determine eligibility for free or reduced price meals and by extension, PEBT eligibility. SFAs must make applications available as needed to certify children for free and reduced price meals and may be used to qualify newly eligible children for school year 21-22 and summer 22 PEBT benefits. USDA has developed a fact sheet that helps to support school districts in determining alternate methods of allocating the Title I funds when school meal data is unavailable. And the updated free and reduced price materials will be posted soon. Verification for 21-22. Any SFA that collects household applications in 21-22 are required to conduct verification regardless of the reason the applications were collected and or the CMP that they are operating. The sample size used to conduct verification activities must be based on the number of approved applications on file as of October 1 of 21. Community eligibility provision deadlines. By September 30th of 2021, SFAs must make their final elections regarding CEP participation for the 21-22 school year through the CMP website. If needed, SFAs can resubmit the population data form. The ISP may be calculated using data drawn anytime between July 1, 2020 and June 30th of 2021. A memo with the instructions on confirming your final elections will be posted soon. Moving on to summer food service operations. We've gone over these waivers numerous times, but these are active links to the waivers if you need them. These are strictly for summer 2021 operations, and SSO or SFSP can be used as the school summer program until school starts. But once school starts, SFAs cannot use SFSP during the regular school year. Regarding collecting racial and ethnicity data, memo SFS 21-169, collection of race and ethnicity data policy rescission. Visual observation and identification by SFSP sponsors is no longer an allowable practice. The ideal method is self-identification and self-reporting of race or ethnicity. But as alternate method, other valid sources of self-identified race or ethnicity, such as the school databases, can be used. The state agency is awaiting further guidance from USDA. Promoting the COVID-19 vaccine at your summer meal site. The LDOE is requiring that summer food service program sponsors distribute educational materials on COVID-19 vaccination at your summer meal sites to support the health and safety of the community. Sponsors will receive 100 postcards, 3 yard signs, and 5 posters per site to distribute to their sites. Sites should distribute postcards in grab-and-go meals, place the yard signs at pickup lines, and display the posters at summer meal sites. These meals are provided by the these materials are provided by the Louisiana Department of Health. Training updates. Training registration for LDOE trainings is located on the Louisiana Fit Kids website. And after the training, each registered participant should complete a questionnaire evaluation. You will receive a follow-up with an email confirming attendance, training hours received, and USDA training codes. Registration for this says June, but we're further on in June, so the trainings for July are now open on the Louisiana Fit Kids website. The training slides and recorded videos, when available, are also posted to Louisiana Fit Kids. Registration is open for the following July trainings. Wednesday, July 7th at 1 p.m. We'll be talking about NSLP and SSO online applications. On Tuesday, July 20th at 1 p.m., we'll be discussing civil rights, so you can get your civil rights requirements in. And on Thursday, July 29th at 1 p.m., we'll be discussing CACFP at-risk supper and snack. Our next monthly call will be Tuesday, August the 3rd at 1 p.m. Please visit the Louisiana Fit Kids to register for any of these trainings. So now we can talk about eScholar. There will be a Zoom user training for eScholar Direct Match, including address matching, manual matching, and the CEP Manager in July and August of 2021. The registration links are posted in memo SFS-21-186. So please register in advance for the webinar. Session 1 will be Monday, July 19th at 10 a.m. to noon. Session 2 will be Monday, July 26th from 10 a.m. to noon. And session 3 will be Friday, August 20th from 10 a.m. to noon. Each session is a repeated session scheduled for July 19th. The participants only need to register for and attend one session. Directors may request, a manager training class for their SFA or a combination of SFAs. There is no cost to the SFA. There must be a minimum of 10 participants. It can be done virtually or in person, and the schedule may be customized. You register at the link on the screen and contact Melissa Campbell if you have any questions. Summer manager training. Summer virtual manager training will be offered. Registration information is posted on the Louisiana Fit Kids website. The training dates are July 26th to the 29th. Assessments will be conducted online. Participants are required to be proctored by the CMP director or his or her designee. The school system must ensure that there is a location available, such as a computer lab, that will accommodate test takers and allow for adequate supervision. See memo SFS 21-X112. So we have a few other program updates. We have some eScholar updates, and LDOE has worked very closely with eScholar on a project that will improve the matching system. The updates will go live for school year 21-22. This improved system will allow schools to match student enrollment data against program records to determine eligibility. The updated system supports multiple agency programs such as SNAP, TANF, foster care, and migrant students, DC Extended, and manual matching. Testing is occurring now. So you want to see memo SFS 21-186 for training information. Remember that the pre-approved equipment list is available on the CMP website at memo SFS 21-87. If the equipment is not listed on the pre-approved list, you should fill out the Louisiana Equipment Purchase Pre-Approval Form and send it to our general email address. On June 23rd, 2021, Governor John Bell Edwards renewed the state of emergency for COVID-19 and Proclamation 118 JBE 2021. The proclamation included the suspension of Louisiana public bid law, and allowed emergency procurement of goods and services necessary to respond to the COVID-19 emergency. Remember that it's only to respond to the COVID-19 emergency. All of our SFAs should be working towards doing proper procurement. The proclamation extended these provisions until July 21st of 2021. So as the state begins to reopen, SFA should return to following standard procurement guidelines as the suspension of the procurement standards may not be included in future emergency proclamations. See memo SFS 21-X190 for more information. As a reminder, school food authorities and sponsors may use the regulatory authority found in federal procurement regulations, formerly at 2 CFR 200.320 and is now at 2 CFR 200.320C3, which allows operators to use the emergency non-competitive proposal procurement method to negotiate a new one-year contract for school year 21-22. The USDA program discrimination complaint form. The state agency has officially adopted the use of USDA's program discrimination complaint form, which replaces the previous discrimination complaint forms used by SFAs. This form is in compliance with the USDA civil rights laws and regulations. Please provide this form to all schools and sites and instruct school food service staff to replace previous discrimination complaint forms with the USDA version. School food service staff will also need to be notified of the procedures that will be followed for filing complaints. See memo SFS 21-X120. Civil rights complaint procedures. The state agency has released a document entitled Civil Rights Complaint Procedures for School Nutrition Programs, which provides the procedures SFAs must complete and follow for handling civil rights complaints. This document is for your records and must be kept on file. The state agency does not need a copy. Each SFA will need to download and fill out the procedure with the appropriate information. This procedure will be adopted and followed by all SFAs operating child nutrition programs. You can find more information in memo SFS 21-X121. Turn Up the Beat. Turn Up the Beat recognizes outstanding summer meal program sponsors who work hard to offer high quality meals. Sponsors who used USDA waivers in response to COVID-19 are eligible. Nominations are due to the state agency by September 10th. See memo SFS 21-160 for more information. We have some deadlines that are now past due. The data sharing agreement and addendum that's been executed by LDOE with CN Resources, and we have not received from every SFA. Food service management company contracts and food service management company agreements. Not all of those have been received. The wellness policy flexibility form and the CEP population data and CEP worksheet. Just a reminder about the Seeds to Success program. If you haven't signed up on their Facebook page, it's really nice. I'm really impressed with how professional their Facebook page looks. And what does Seeding Louisiana provide? You can get a growing kit, a windowsill greenhouse kit, then you can get an Earthbox gardening system. And it's an educational website and has numerous lesson plans and growing guides. And for questions, contact the LDOE Division of Nutrition Support at Child Nutrition Programs at la.gov. So we're going to go on mute, and then we're going to look to answer some of the questions. Okay, we got a question about whether OBS can be used during SSO, and the answer is, is yes, it can be used. The next question is, do we have to capture point of service data by student identified number, or can we just do tally sheets? And the answer is yes, you can do tally sheets. Making sure that you ensure program integrity, and there's only one meal for each child. When will the 21-22 application be ready for us to begin entering data? And that should be sometime next week. It's still having some edits done to it, and we're trying to get it done just as quickly as possible. But it should be available by next week. The next question is, if under SSO, can I continue through June 30th, 2022? Would we change to SFSP on July 1? And the answer is yes. Has there been any updated information from LDH regarding meal service for the next school year? Specifically, if students will be able to self-serve the food items from the serving line? And we have not received any information to date. Hopefully we will. Next question is, our summer feeding is over and we did not receive postcards or anything for the vaccine. How can we promote if we are finished with summer feeding? Basically, you can't if you don't have students coming. If you want to, if your district has a website or a Facebook page or something like that, you may want to promote it that way. Are we allowed to still operate grab and go CACFP at-risk supper with enrichment activities offered? And the answer is yes. Can we use the household economic survey for school year 21-22? I have not seen a recent copy of that. If you can find one, please share it with us, because I had looked for it for an SFA and I was not able to find it. So yeah, and we just don't think that they released it, that they're planning a little something new, I think. Is breakfast in the classroom allowed for SSO? And the answer is yes. Will there be a Spanish version of the instructions for the discrimination complaint form posted? Yes, it will be. In eScholar matches, will SFAs use TANF matches, or will we use only SNAP, migrant, foster, and homeless matches in eScholar? It's all of them. You will use it for all the matches. Do we know the attendance factor for school year 21-22? Not as of yet. When will we find out our review date? We're not sure at this point. We'll send out a memo as to the review dates. We're just not sure. Can we use our permanent trays, or do we have to use paper trays? And we do not know that at this point. We'll be waiting on LDH and CDC for their guidelines. Is the SSO waiver available now to apply for? No, the SSO waiver or the SSO application will be coming out next week with the NSLP application. we have summer accelerate programs scheduled for July 19th to the 30th and also August 2nd to the 13th. How do we need to switch to NSLP, or can we continue as FSP? You can use SFSP until school starts. And so as long as your school doesn't start before August 13th, you're in good shape. Will the free and reduced lunch application information be updated this week? Yes, it should be. Is there a form to use to satellite meals to another school location? We do have a satellite form that is under the summer food service program, and you certainly can use that form and change it as as needed, as long as you have the required information. Now, it looks like all the questions we have. So, but of course, if you think of is there offer versus serve in the elementary? And you may use offer versus serve in the elementary school, but you're not required to. So if there's no more questions, we'll say goodbye for today. But if you have any questions, certainly feel free to call us at the number on the screen. And you can email us at childnutritionprograms@la.gov. Have a good day.